Good, happy Monday morning, November 11, 2019. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. It is also Veterans Day today. We have a lot of news to get to this Monday morning on the Riley King Newscast, so let's begin. First up, 2 people dead after crash involving 2 boats on Lake Winnipesaukee, according to New Hampshire State Police. Officials believe vessels was involved in boating accident Saturday night, leaving 2 people dead, 1 injured. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Nature isn't the only force that can leave its mark, especially when you have a tractor built to help make your property your own.
Tragedy on the waters of Lake Winnipesaukee after 2 boats collide Saturday night in Meredith. First responders were called to an area of the lake on the north side of Bear Island just after 6 o'clock, arriving to find an adult male dead in this 20-foot sea ray, along with an adult female suffering from head injuries. At first, it appeared this was a single boat crash, but as the investigation continued, officials believed there was another boat involved.
We had some debris that was located, and as a result of that, we were able to match that up with a boat that was reported missing, also from the Bear Island area.
That discovery prompting an all-out search from the water and the air. Resident David Dahl watching it all unfold.
Saw the helicopter and the boats, and I got my binoculars and started looking.
A collaborative effort by many agencies here to be able to really pinpoint a search area for the second suspected missing boat.
Another boat was eventually found in more than 40 feet of water. Divers later recovering a body of a male inside.
The boating community is a tight-knit community, and this is a catastrophic loss for everybody. Certainly our hearts go out to the families and everyone that this impacts. This is a tragedy.
All 3 people involved in the crash are residents of Bear Island. Their names are being withheld pending notification of family.
And meantime, Marine Patrol is requesting anyone who may have witnessed this incident or even heard anything on the water in the area of Bear, Pine, or 3 Mile Islands to contact its headquarters. In the studio, I'm Tim Callery, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. State's largest homeless shelter preparing for a busy winter following record-breaking summer. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Tim Callery.
Chapel Tractor has been in our family since 1955, when great-grandfather Pearlie and our grandfather George decided to...
Well, over the summer, New Horizons saw unprecedented numbers seeking shelter, and that's typically a time that is their quietest. Now, as the winter months approach, they're worried of what may arrive here because that's typically when they see a higher need for help. Now, that increase over the summer forced the shelter to implement a new policy in October for the first time ever in order to keep up with the demands of the people they serve. So what that means, in order to access the day resource program from 4 to 8 p.m. here at the shelter, people must be engaged in supportive services such as speaking with a case member. The shelter also only allows 138 people to sleep over per night from now on.
We're doing the best that we can with the limited space that we have. Our building is only so big. We have a certain number of staff members on staff, and safety is a priority for us.
And now as we prepare for extreme cold that could be coming with the winter months, the shelter says it is looking at all options, including working with the city to see if there are any other locations that could act as overflow for that season. We're live here in Manchester. I'm Tim Callery, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. About 100 veterans gather in Nashua for reunion hosted by Honor Flight New England. Let's take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9.
We're here today to tell you good folks about Cozy Cabin Rustics Furniture and Mattress Bargain Barn. We carry all types of furniture, including American-made Adirondack and real logs, hardwoods, and reclaimed barn boards to build our quality furniture. Now at 3 convenient locations. Hey, up.
Well, it was a special reunion for about 100 New Hampshire veterans in Nashua today. Honor Flight New England hosted an event at the Radisson Hotel, bringing these veterans together. Those who took part had previously taken flights as part of the Honor Flight program. It transports veterans to see the memorials in their honor in Washington, D.C.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And as you know, today is Veterans Day, so let's take a look at this video, History of Veterans Day.
Soldiers from wars both old and new march down city streets. Flags hang from homes, businesses, even car antennas. Ceremonies remember those who dutifully served their nation. It's Veterans Day, or Remembrance Day, as it's known in much of the world, a time to honor members of the armed forces. And it all began in a railroad car with a document to end the war to end all wars. World War I, also known as the Great War, shocked the global community with its unprecedented toll in human life. Untold millions were killed. Germany was running low on manpower and supplies, so they agreed to sign an armistice, or truce, in the French commander Ferdinand Foch's private rail car. On the 11th hour, on the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918, all was quiet on the Western Front. The fighting had ended. Exactly 1 year later, President Woodrow Wilson decreed that Americans should observe a moment of silence at 11 a.m. to remember the armistice and to embrace the peace. Other Allied nations commemorated the peaceful anniversary as well. In England and Canada, citizens wore paper poppies. Poppies had become a symbol of the armistice. The poem Flanders Field described a one-time battlefield. In Flanders Field, the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row. In America, the nation's first unknown soldier was laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery on Armistice Day, 1921. He was a casualty of the Great War. Since that first memorial, other unknown soldiers from America's wars have been interred in the tomb. And it's become tradition for the president or one of his representatives to lay a wreath on the monument every November 11th. A resolution was passed in 1926 inviting all Americans to remember Armistice Day and the soldiers who fought so hard for peace. The idea caught on. By 1938, the day was marked with so many ceremonies and parades, Congress made it a legal holiday, giving people the day off work. After World War II and the Korean War, Americans wanted to open up the holiday to include not just World War I veterans, but all who served in combat. In 1954, President Dwight Eisenhower, a World War II vet himself, legally changed the U.S. Armistice Day to Veterans Day, honoring those who served in all American wars. For a brief time, starting in 1971, Congress moved the holiday to the fourth Monday in October, giving Americans a 3-day weekend. But most people rejected the idea. The traditional date of November 11th, the anniversary of the Great War's ceasefire, was too historically important to forget. President Ford reversed the law in 1975, returning Veterans Day back to its rightful date. Over the decades, the holiday has changed with the times. Originally, it was a call for world peace. Then in the U.S., it became a day to remember war veterans. Today, Veterans Day is set aside to honor not just those who served in war, but also those who have served their nation in peace.
Okay, and that is history of Veterans Day. If you want to see that video again, we will have the link for you on the Riley King Network Facebook page. Veterans Day 2019. Here's what's open and closed. Each year on Veterans Day, Americans honor the 19.6 million active and former U.S. service members who have put a uniform on. Since Veterans Day is a federal holiday, that means not everyone is open for business. This year, Veterans Day takes place on Monday. Here's what's open and closed. Let's take a look at the open list first. Here is the opened list. And now here's the closed list. To confirm whether your favorite spot is open today, just call and check. That is always a good thing to do. Julian Castro says New Hampshire not diverse enough to hold first primary. Time for change. Former Obama administration housing secretary shut down presidential campaign in New Hampshire last week. After really campaigning in New Hampshire in recent months and then shutting down his campaign operation in the Granite State, Democratic presidential candidate Julian Castro is now calling for the state's presidential primary to lose its leadoff role in the nomination process. And now let's take a look at your 2020 New Hampshire candidate tracker for today. We have 3 candidates in New Hampshire today. The first candidate we're going to talk about, Steve Bullock. He has one event today in New Hampshire. Bedford Democrats meet and greet in Bedford, New Hampshire at 6 o'clock p.m. Pete Buttigieg has one event today in New Hampshire, delivering Veterans Day address at the Rochester Opera House in Rochester, New Hampshire at 1:15 p.m. And Elizabeth Warren is in New Hampshire today. She has one event today in New Hampshire. Town Hall at Exeter High School in Exeter, New Hampshire at 3:15 p.m. U.S. features point to a lower open. U.S. stock index features were lower Monday morning. Suspect shot outside Louisville supermarket. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Now to the shootout caught on camera outside a supermarket in Louisville. Police responding to a call of gunshots inside the store, confronting the suspect in the parking lot before several shots are exchanged. The suspect would not survive. ABC's Kaylee Hartung has the details.
A wild shootout in a supermarket's parking lot. tonight, the dramatic video caught on this police body camera. The panic beginning inside the store.
People running everywhere, screaming, he's got a gun, he's got a gun.
One man allegedly assaulting another customer, then firing a gun multiple times into the ceiling.
Got shots fired in the store.
Dozens of shoppers fearing for their lives.
We'll be on scene in a few blocks.
Police responding in less than 1 minute, just as the shooter moves outside.
Hey! Hey!
You hear a witness fleeing the store, identifying that man in the red hoodie as the gunman. Then he takes aim at police. Both officers taking cover and returning fire.
Shots fired, one subject down.
Seconds later, killing the shooter.
I am personally grateful for the brave and swift response from our officers, because this could have been a very different press conference today, if not for their efforts.
No one else was injured. Both officers have been put on administrative reassignment as the department investigates the shooting. Tom?
Kaylee Hartung with that wild video. All right, Kaylee, thank you.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll be back here later on today for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.